Hey guys.
I'm Bob.
I'm Barb. Together, we make up
HetteshWorld. This water series, I wanted to show you where you could potentially have leaks outside your camper on the actual body, and then also on the roof itself. As you can see on this river stone, we got a front fiberglass cap, but it does have a molding, and this molding has silicone coming down on both sides. So we want to look for those spots along this ridge here where the fiberglass meets the underneath. Pretty much any place where the fiberglass meets a transition of some type, you want to make sure there's no potential for leaks. On these slides, you want to look up here because water will cascade down and it can potentially get underneath this rail here and get into this wood underneath. So you want to always make sure underneath this wood you have no problems. On this particular slide is a Swintech, and on this molding here, the factory has put silicone down along this ridge up through here. So you want to look for this to make sure there's no breaks in that silicone. If not, you want to clean it and resurface it with some 30-year clear silicone of your choice, I guess. You're starting to see more and more campers where they're putting screws down through here to assure that this does not have a leak connection, because if this leaks, this potentially could come down and get underneath here and start rotting out your floor. So you want to look for those. Any place, even around this electrical outlet, you don't want a potential for problems there. On this slide here, this mid slide, this is a hydraulic slide, but it also has lots of spots where water can get in. So you want to look for those. Around all these baggage doors, you got trim. All this trim here, potential water leaks, and you can see where the factory put silicone. And most time they put more than what you really need, but you want to keep an eye on it. Down through this rim here, and you can see up here, this is kind of getting a little worn here. You can see it's a little bumpy, so I will address that with a razor knife, and I'll clean that up, and I'll show you how I do it with silicone. Even around these marker lights, they've got silicone around them. This has got a mid-shift turn signal on it, and so you want to make sure that's siliconed also. On this back door, since this is a garage model, everybody that follows our channel knows this has got a MORryde garage door, but you can see right here, I started pulling some of this away, but some of the silicone's breaking down after 3 years of being on the road and this thing bouncing down the interstate. So going down this whole rim here, you can see it's really getting worn, and if water gets in there, you know there's probably some wood behind here that's going to catch that water, and it's going to start breaking down this fiberglass mold. So that's just some of the spots I wanted to show you. I'm going to show you on this back door how I tape this off, and I use a clear silicone, and I'll put a nice small bead in this groove. You don't want to overdo it, and I put some painter's tape down through here so I don't get it all over the body itself. We'll put a nice bead and smooth it up with some thinner to make sure that's nice and pushed back in there. You want to make sure it looks good. You just want to slap it in there and put a big giant bead of silicone. It's going to look horrible. And we'll start with this back door, since this is probably the worst spot that I've found on the camper so far. The roof, I've been up on it several times, and I have die-cored a few spots with some leveling compound to fix some repairs, but eventually we'll get up on the roof and we'll check that out and make sure that's all good. Right now I just want to show you some of the things that I'm going to use to clean up this back door and to re-silicone it. You want a razor knife to be able to get down in there and scrape away some of that, you want some type of scraper. You definitely want tape if you want to make a nice clean line with the silicone. You want a really good 100% silicone that's going to last. And nothing's forever, so you want something decent going on. You also want to have a good gun. I bought a new one, but this has got a release mechanism, so when you want the flow to stop, you can stop it so you're not just oozing out a big lump out there that you're going to have to clean up. So the other thing you're going to want is some kind of mineral spirits or some type of thinner. Once you get it taped off, you're going to want to clean that area well so you got good adhesion with your silicone. Also, if you use this, you can use this on your finger, and you can clean the spot up, and you can run your finger down through there and make a nice clean bead so it doesn't look horrible. You also want to have some good rags, something you're not going to want to reuse because it's probably going to get silicone on it by the time you clean up some of the areas. I'm going to get this knife up inside here without trying to disturb the paint of the RV, and I'm going to try to get some of this, gouge some of this out of here. I showed you this loose piece earlier, but we want to get all this loose stuff out of the way, so when we run our clean bead down through there, it's not going to give us a adhesion problem. They do make silicone scrapers or silicone removers, but I feel the old-fashioned knife does the best. And we're not trying to make a big giant groove here, we're just trying to get some of this old stuff out of the way so we have good adhesion when we clean it up with the mineral spirits. And you can see there's a lot of old silicone. The factory gets a little more crazy with the silicone, and I've had to clean a lot up over the years to clean the camper up. But main thing, you just want to get all that loose old stuff out of the way, and you want to come back with a damp rag and kind of wipe it up. Just want to show you on this door on the top part, I'm using this razor knife, kind of just scoring that old silicone, and then I'm taking my putty knife, a little thin putty knife, and trying to knock all this old stuff out of the groove. And you can see it's a little discolored, so it's definitely had some water intrusion in there a little bit. I can't stress enough how much you want to clean this to make sure you got a good adhesion with your silicone. Probably the hardest thing in the whole job of going around and making sure your RV is watertight is the cleanup, making sure that any place that you're applying fresh silicone that you got it cleaned up. As I apply this silicone down through this groove, I am going to go back with my finger with some mineral spirits on it. So you want to keep a rag handy, one for cleanup if you get over exuberant and you get too much silicone, and one to keep your finger moist with the mineral spirit so you can put a bead down through here to make this look real nice. Well, on top of this cabinet here, I found a couple spots that were a little bit compromised. So what I did is I put some tape up here because I'm not the world's greatest at the silicone gun. And you can see these little rough spots right here. I'm going to put a bead of silicone on there and use the tape to make me look like a professional. So we'll put a bead on there and then we'll pull that tape off right away, and that spot should be good. And it looks good too, because you don't want it to look, you see some where people have it globbed up real thick. It don't have to be thick, it just has to fill in all the spots that need to be filled so you don't have an intrusion of water. Here's a spot I want to show you that has definitely been compromised. If you look, and I don't know how well it'll show up on the film, but if I pull up on this molding a little bit, you'll see that gap opens up. This line here is your floor, so behind there is the floor, so that needs to be filled in. I just want to show you that after that's been siliconed and how nice the tape does, keeping it look clean. This is the spot where it was opened up here. That's all filled back in. We have slide toppers on this unit. Bring the TPO roof over top of this slide. You want to clean that spot. You want to clean that with your alcohol or your mineral spirits. You want to make sure that silicone's bead there. They usually fill this track up with butyl tape or silicone, but you just want to make sure that it's sealed, so when the water cascades over, even though this has got a topper on it, some water can still get in there on blowing rain, and you don't want it to get in there because it can run down your slide and cause you issues. You got a spot up here, so the water will cascade down through here. You can see they seal it just a little bit. We've had one window leak where it actually got in between the window panes, and what I did is I removed it, got it to dry up, and then I resealed it. But you want to make sure there's no water cascading down getting into this window, because this is a double pane window and it does have a second seal inside here, so that's what you want to protect yourself from. So what I do is I'll mask this off so I don't get it all over the glass. Come up through here, and then I'll put a bead right down through this whole area after I clean it. Above your doors, you can see here there's silicone from the factory, and it's aged after 3.5 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this radius along here, just put a little bead on there of clear silicone. The other spot I want to point out is receptacles. Also, we've got a camera mounted on the back above those cameras, above those lights there. So basically anything that's screwed onto the camper is going to need some kind of silicone. I wanted to show you a couple spots on the roof that need attention. This is the kind of stuff you're looking for. You can see that's opened up. That's opened up there. And you see some cracks in this going down through here. And you can see repairs I have done the different color of the die core, which is self-leveling roof sealant. So what we want to do is go around any of these die core spots and look for cracks or spots that have changed over the years. And we do recommend, at least once a year you get up on your roof, give an extensive look around for die core issues. You can see here in this corner here, I've got cracks in here. Down through here I got some spots that are thin. Around these skylights, you can see where the screw, right there, you can see where it's bubbling up. So I'll break that out. I'll use some die core cleaner and we'll reseal these. I know there's a bunch of lap sealants out there on the market, but I use this one here, the cleaner, and I use their self-leveling lap sealant here. I just wanted to show you that. So I'll get a little of this cleaner on my rag here, wipe this really good to promote adhesion on this die core. It doesn't have to be totally spotless, but you want it clean up to where it's going to adhere to it. Pick out any loose stuff that's hanging there, and then you take your lap sealant, and this right here is going to be a little thick because this hadn't been open in a while. And it looks ugly, but it will level out. I'll show you a couple spots here that I fixed. Also on these skylight brackets, the screws were coming through. They weren't showing through yet, but they were getting close. And I'm sorry the AC's loud. This whole top of this cap, where the cap joins the roof, I had to put die core across this whole center section here. And around the where the solar panels go into the camper, there were some screws that were getting ready to be exposed. Die core is not the prettiest thing in the world. You try to put it, you can't put it on neat. You just got to glob it on and let it do its thing by self-leveling.
Like this video, share it,
and comment.
subscribe.
Smash up that notification bell.
Remember, we're HetteshWorld.
Come travel in our world.
Straight